Get off my TV. The very hashtag that has slain a 7-foot giant. The very hashtag that has sent a demon directly back to hell. And the very hashtag that has sent a beast into starvation. Now available as an official wrestling podcast partner of barbershopwindow.com. Get Off My TV, Off the Script, presents to you version 3, featuring the Goon of Goons. Get Off My TV will now be the official hashtag that crumbles an entire empire. For $19.99, you can wear this beauty in pride. Barbershopwindow.com. Link is down below in the description. An official partner for Off the Script.
There will never be a point in your life where it's the right time to do a great thing. If you're waiting for that perfect moment, that perfect timing, it's not going to happen. You know what you have to do? You have to create the perfect time and the perfect opportunity and the perfect situation.
So that a lot of people become comfortable. They stop growing. They stop wanting anything. They become satisfied. People getting ready to go to jobs that they don't like, jobs that are making them sick. You see, when you're not pursuing your goal, you are literally committing spiritual suicide. When you have some goal out here that you're stretching for and reaching for that takes you out of your comfort zone, you'll find out some talents and abilities you have that you didn't know you have. When the messenger of misery visits you, what are you going to do? What will keep you in the game?
There are things that you think you'll never need to know, that you may only need to know one time in your life, but that could save your life because you had that knowledge.
Unless you attempt to do something beyond that which you've already mastered, you will never grow. What is it that you looked at some point in time and you decided that you couldn't do it, that you talked yourself out of it?
You're waiting on your next door neighbor to make it happen for you. It may not happen. If you're waiting on your mother.
What is going on, guys? JD from New York here, and this is Off the Script, episode 119, part number 1 for your Friday to start your Memorial Day weekend. What I want you guys to do before we get into the massive topic at hand, which is the WWE Draft and the brand split, splitting Raw and SmackDown individually. We're going to talk about all that. But what I want you guys to do, number one, thank you for watching the introduction to Off the Script this weekend. It's because of Horse 60 that introduction was possible, and you're going to see 2 more over Saturday and Sunday's shows, okay? Horse wants you to realize what it means to be an American citizen this weekend. He wants you to fully understand what this weekend is about. It's not about the grill that you're standing in front of flipping burgers. It's not about the beach that you're laid out on. It's not about you sitting at home popping open a cold beer. It's not about any of that. The reason why you're able to do all that is because of the risk that the men and women that serve this country took to make that possible for you. And Horse 60 wants you guys to realize that this weekend. My grandfather served, and I didn't know that until we put him to rest. And when we had the American flag draped over his casket, and the music was playing, and I didn't know any of that part of my grandfather's life. And this is for him also, because he served. And Horse 60 in conjunction with Off the Script, we want to make sure you guys know what this weekend is about as well. So what I want you guys to do is go and thank Horse60 on Twitter. And I want you to go subscribe to his YouTube channel. He's a small channel with 600 subscribers. But he's got a big mouth with a lot of fucking impact. And he speaks 100% truth. Not only is he a supporter of Off the Script, not only is he a supporter of this channel, but he's someone that I can honestly say is a real friend. I want you guys to go get him to that small milestone of 1,000 subscribers. If we do anything more than that, fucking fantastic. But I want you guys to go subscribe to Horse60 and show some support for what he is doing for Off the Script this weekend. All right? Horse, the hat, Memorial Day, the videos. Thank you, brother. Always appreciate it. Now, the topic at hand. Off the Script, episode 119 of part number 1. And you guys know what time it is. Is the announcement in which we finally realized WWE is treading failure. The brand split was announced. Our nightmares have become a reality. And the brand split, to me, I'm not saying I'm not going to be watching with bated breath. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm not going to watch WWE. I'm not going to pick apart WWE. I'm not going to fucking curse WWE to the fucking heavens. I'm not going to do none of that. I do that on a weekly basis because the things that they do just do not make sense to me. I don't know what I'm going to say, period, in this video. Because what I am going to say here, I said in episode 106, when the brand split was first rumored. The same exact thing is what I'm going to tell you people. You don't know how many people I have coming to me, telling me this is a great thing, this is a fucking fantastic thing. I am not going to disagree with any of you. I'm not going to agree with any of you. I'm here to give you guys 100% logic as to why this is a bad move. That's all. If I open one pair of eyes, that's all I could ask. That's all I want. I open one pair of eyes. One pair of eyes leads to 2, 2 leads to 4, 4 leads to 8. You guys get the fucking point. I'm not here to fucking bash the WWE. I'm here to simply say that I don't think this is a good idea. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it a whole hell of a lot because in one video, I'm going to fill you guys in on literally every fucking piece of information that WWE has released in regards to this brand split. I will do no such thing as no views entertainment and release 12 videos. No, that's not the way we operate. We do things here in a professional manner. We do things here in which we do not show everyone that we're money whores. Tagging and titling, draft and brand split and WWE in 12 different videos all across the fucking servers of YouTube within a span of 2 hours. No. We're not going to do that, man. We're going to sit, we're going to pop open a cold beer, and we're going to relax as we talk about the failure that is the brand split. That's what we're going to do. Thank you to those who bought your Roman Reigns t-shirts. Get Off My TV version 3. You guys are fucking beasts. Thank you to those who continue to pledge for the Patreon account. Thank you. I think we're above $1,000 fucking dollars in pledges, man. You guys are fucking unreal. Keep it going, man. Keep it going. You guys are unbelievable. And next week's show, I'm going to have a wrestling nickname for everybody that has pledged a certain amount. If you guys fell within that tier, I'm going to give you a wrestling nickname, and you're going to be shouted out as one of the members of Team JD right here on Off the Script. So thank you guys very much for your continued support on Patreon.com. As I said, Roman Reigns Get Off My TV version 3, barbershop window, now an official partner with Off the Script. The link to that very online shop is linked down below in the description, man. It's a very particular link. I can't really say it. It's a very particular link that they gave me, so you can go to that link down in the description. It'll take you right to the online shop. You can get anything associated with Off the Script, with the Roman Reigns t-shirt, man. Version 3, Get Off My TV. That is a money fucking t-shirt. If you guys missed my social media comments, I did episode 3 last night. Go and check that out. YouTube was fucking up yesterday. I don't think it pushed through the fucking servers, man. So if you missed that, it is now live, and I'll leave you a link and an annotation right here on screen if you guys missed reading social media comments. Roman Reigns is the god of Earth, and India is the title, man. It's fucking hilarious. Go check it out. And as always, Twitter and YouTube. Follow me on Twitter, JD from NY206. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and WrestleCrate.com. And on Twitter, at WrestleCrates. We have a WrestleCrate unboxing, hopefully next weekend as well. Thank you guys so very much for all that. Now, the fucking draft, man. The fucking draft. Here we go. Let's get into this. Wednesday, May 25th, 2016 will go down as one of the most significant days in WWE history. It was announced that the company would once again be implementing a brand split, dividing the roster in half, with one performing exclusively on Monday Night Raw and the other half on SmackDown, the latter of which will be live on Tuesday nights beginning July 19th. That, out of everything that has been announced this week in regards to the brand split, is the most important fucking piece of information. SmackDown is now on Tuesdays, which means two things. Number one, I have to alter my work schedule because I am no longer working Tuesday nights. Number two, it's more content for you guys because now, if SmackDown is live and there's going to be certain superstars that I can't see on Raw that I really do want to see, I'm going to have to watch SmackDown. So we're going to get a review of SmackDown every Tuesday night. So it's more content for you guys, and it's good for us wrestling fans that finally SmackDown is live again on Tuesday nights, which makes Raw and SmackDown back-to-back on Monday and Tuesday nights, man. That is fucking exciting news for WWE. But how the brand split is executed will be crucial to the future of this industry. New details emerged later on Wednesday afternoon in regards to the brand split in general. According to the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer radio show with none other than Dave Meltzer, another draft will take place, and that draft will happen on Monday, July 11th on Raw. This comes a week before the new era of SmackDown is slated to begin. So we'll find out if the roster is divided immediately after the draft concludes, or if those headed for the Tuesday night show will appear on Monday one more time. The other significant aspect about July 11th and that date is that Raw will emanate from Detroit, Michigan that night. The Joe Louis Arena was the site of Shane McMahon's shocking return to WWE earlier this year, and there's a good chance Shane could be running the SmackDown brand when all of this plays out. Shane's father, the WWE chairman, is reportedly buzzing with ideas ever since the brand split ball got rolling. The brand split had been rumored for months, but the final decision to move forward with it happened within the last few weeks. Some WWE officials and superstars were informed of the plan on Sunday at Extreme Rules, with the rest of those within WWE finding out this week when we all found out. The biggest source of the discussion has become what they plan to do about the World Championship, with many believing that there will be 2 world titles again, though that right now is not confirmed, which I will talk about in just a second. Among those many ideas floating around inside Vince McMahon's head includes the plans for the other championships in the WWE. The report indicates that the Intercontinental Championship will be on one show, while the United States Championship will be on the other. As of now, it appears the WWE Tag Team Championships will be defended on both shows, and there is no plans of bringing in a second set of tag team titles. Also, many WWE officials are under the impression that the entire women's division will be on one show, still competing for their lone title. Most of the talent that reacted via social media Wednesday did so positively. though a large majority of them are still unclear of what the exact plans will be and what night they'll be performing on. Vince noted on the first quarter WWE earnings report and that specific conference earlier this month that very soon we'd bear witness to the biggest roster in company's history. He obviously had a brand split in mind, and by adding talent, that is still a priority despite the recent releases. More cuts are expected by the end of the month, but the plan is to add fresh faces, many of which will come from NXT, in order to fill out 2 full separate rosters. As noted earlier Wednesday, those 2 rosters will have their own writing and creative staff dedicated solely to that brand. NXT will need to be replenished as well, meaning WWE will continue to scour overseas and the independents for top talent. Variety reported that both shows will have their own creative and writing teams as well as their own unique storylines. The rumor before this announcement was that Triple H and Stephanie McMahon would run SmackDown. Not just run it on television, they would actually control all the storylines we see on the show on a weekly basis. WWE is rumored to be pushing Stephanie up the corporate ladder by 2017. They are wanting her to do an extreme amount of press for her new book, which is set to hit stores in September. The plan is that she will end up getting into the public eye and become the face of the WWE's corporate world instead of her father, Vince McMahon. The plan would then be to slowly transition her into a major position, which is rumored to be happening next year. Vince is reportedly pumped up about the plan and hopes the WWE Universe is as well. The last time they went with a brand split, it started off with a bang, but fizzled out by the end. Hopefully they learn from their mistakes, and this new era can legitimately make a mark. Currently, the speculated date for the WWE Superstar Draft, like I said, is Monday Night Raw on July 11th from the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, Michigan. As of now, the major speculation is trying to figure out which superstars land on which show, and that is where a lot of mock drafts are coming in. Joe and I'm going to talk to him this weekend. I am going to run the idea about him out of nowhere. Him and I are going to be doing a mock draft. Joe will be SmackDown, I will be Raw. And we're going to choose who we would have in each individual pick on our rosters. It's going to be a show you do not want to miss, and it's going to be a gimmick for out of nowhere that I think is going to go over very well. So if you guys want that, you sound off in the comments below, and you go tell Joe as well on Twitter, at Joe Cronin Show on Twitter. The Wrestling Observer has also stated that 2 world titles are quite possible, with each show having its own major champion. As of now, the plan is for John Cena to be the face of SmackDown and Roman Reigns to be the face of Raw. But what about everybody else? Fansided believes that Seth Rollins and AJ Styles would be the next 2 picks for Raw and SmackDown respectively. Raw would then select Kevin Owens with the 5th overall pick, while SmackDown would grab the first woman superstar taken in the draft in the form of WWE Women's Champion Charlotte. So on and so forth. Now, as far as the World Champion situations, okay, I had one of my subscribers send me mail via Twitter, okay, Brett R527 sent me exclusive information that Richard Gray from Wrestling News World is reporting, okay, and he sent me this as of early Thursday afternoon. Now, I'm going to read to you what is exactly going down as far as the championships. This is exclusive information. You're not going to hear this anywhere else, okay? USA Network led the charge for SmackDown going live. Richard Gray detailed this a lot throughout the year on his website, and these negotiations were finally given the green light, okay? There will be 2 championships. A World Championship for SmackDown and a World Championship for Monday Night Raw. The World Champion for the SmackDown brand is currently scheduled to be crowned at WWE Battleground in July. Okay? They haven't decided if they're going to have women on one show or bring up more from NXT and have them on both shows. There are scheduled to be more call-ups from NXT. The current number is scheduled between 5 and 10 NXT superstars being promoted to the main roster. The WWE draft is currently scheduled for July 11th. The plan as of earlier this week was for Shane McMahon to run Raw and Stephanie McMahon to run SmackDown. John Cena is slated to headline one show, with Roman Reigns headlining the other. This likely scraps Cena beating Rusev on next week's Raw for the United States Championship, but that is not 100%. It could still happen, and I'll let you know in 1 second what I'm thinking. There is scheduled to be 2 different world champions for each brand, along with the Intercontinental Championship being on Raw exclusively, and the United States Championship on SmackDown exclusively. Okay? That is the latest on the draft and the brand split for WWE. Okay? Now, what happens to NXT? I am worried about NXT, and we did Out of Nowhere on Wednesday, and me and Joe fucking fangirled over the fact that Triple H sent out a tweet, NXT TakeOver the end, what does this mean? We all fucking jumped to conclusions immediately without putting our collective thoughts together, and NXT is not going anywhere, okay? NXT is not going anywhere. One of the callers called up and said that NXT is still selling tickets for Brooklyn, so NXT is not going nowhere, okay? NXT is too big of a brand to be ended. TakeOver the end means it's the end of Balor and Joe. Whoever's losing that match, more than likely, 100%, being moved up to the main roster. Okay? So NXT TakeOver the end. This TakeOver, out of everything that's happened in this new era, okay, this show will signify the new era. It starts at this TakeOver. What is WWE and Triple H going to do as far as replenishing NXT? I don't know, man. I really don't know. I'm hearing Balor obviously is being called up. I'm hearing Bayley's name being called up. But I think Bayley is going to wait a couple more months until she gets her rematch with Asuka. And that could be as a passing of the torch type deal. Bayley can pass the torch to Asuka, as Asuka's going to be the face of that division. I don't see Bayley winning the title back at all. I think they're going to have one last match at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. They're going to try and recreate the magic that Bayley and Sasha did last year with Asuka and Bayley this year. It's going to be a passing of the torch, and Bayley's going to show up on one of the brands after SummerSlam. That's my opinion on that. I'm hearing American Alpha is going to be thrusted into the main roster, or onto the main roster. Now, the winner of the Revival American Alpha match more than likely will get the call-up. Whether American Alpha drops the titles, they get called up, or the Revival win the titles and they get called, or loses that match and they get called up. So if the Revival loses, they're getting called up. If American Alpha retains, they're staying. So that's that. That's what I'm hearing as well. I don't know who else could possibly be moving to Monday Night Raw from NXT. Nakamura, I don't know, man. Do you really want to strip NXT down to the fucking bare bones? You want to pull Balor? You want to pull American Alpha or the Revival? You want to pull Nakamura? Who is NXT going to be left with? I know they have Eric Young waiting. I know Bobby Roode's probably going to make his debut at NXT TakeOver. They just debuted TM61, a phenomenal new fucking tag team. They got Gargano and Ciampa, fucking amazing tag team collectively. They're great singles, but I like them collectively together as a tag team. You know, I don't know if I would pull Nakamura immediately from NXT. You got Austin Aries. WWE is going to be scouring the fucking globe for talent. I don't know when these other guys' contracts are up. You know, I'm pretty sure they're going to be looking at New Japan. I'm pretty sure they're going to be looking at Jay Lethal. I don't know when his contract is up. And a lot of these guys signed exclusive deals with Ring of Honor and New Japan, man. I don't see these guys going anywhere for a little bit. So I don't know how well off NXT is going to be as far as talent goes. I know this Cruiserweight Open, this Cruiserweight tournament is going to allow WWE to really scout talent, and whoever's going to win that obviously is going to come out on top with a WWE contract. They're going to land on NXT, but it also gives WWE the eyes to look at who else is competing in this tournament and who else they potentially want to bring in. TNA is dead. TNA is dead. I mean, EC3 and Drew Galloway were at the Evolve show. they went on a scathing promo about WWE. This was already agreed to by Triple H for them to go out there and shoot this promo. The TNA is done. Everybody that's in TNA, WWE is going to pluck like a fucking bunch of fucking tomatoes off the plant outside. You know? The tomato fucking tree. That's all they're going to do. EC3, Drew Galloway, they'll be in NXT. Whoever else is in TNA right now, I don't fucking know. You know, so they might be well off. They might kill TNA in the process. Not only take their talent, but they might diminish TNA and put them in the grave completely by moving to Tuesdays, because TNA is on Tuesdays. But I think NXT will be alright. They might struggle for a little bit. But pulling everybody that's been an important factor to NXT almost all at the same time immediately, just to fill roster gaps on the main roster, that's a little scary. So NXT TakeOver is definitely going to be the one show which is going to really kickstart this new era. Alright? As far as NXT goes, and the draft, I have news on the NXT call-ups. According to the Wrestling Observer, the plan is to bring up a lot of talent from NXT to help fill out the rosters. Many are expected to be brought up before the draft occurs. However, we should not be surprised if we have debuts occurring right after the draft as well. Due to the talent loss from WWE NXT, the company is reportedly aggressively targeting a lot of talent from around the world right now. There is a thought that some could be brought in similar to AJ Styles, and that they may bypass the NXT program and straight head to the main roster. Names like Kota Ibushi are possible in this department, as the name value is more enough for them to consider having him debut without being on NXT. He will be working the Cruiserweight Classic event, so that is always a possibility. On top of this, they may want him to sign, and the only way they may be able to do this is by having him sign a big deal. It would not be wise of them to have him sign this deal and not use him on the main roster. The company is expected to officially debut the likes of Bobby Roode on the NXT roster relatively soon, with the rumored plan of his debut occurring at NXT TakeOver in a few weeks. We do not know what he will do, but there is a theory that he could have a match on the program. There are some who think that he might bypass the NXT program as well, but this does not seem likely, as the company will need stars to replace their losses in NXT. Names like Balor, Joe, Nakamura, Bayley, and even the NXT Tag Team Champions, Jordan and Gable, are all rumored to be called up to the main roster. Again, some very well could debut shortly after it occurs. Other names like the Revival and Carmella could be added as well, but that all depends. The reason for some call-ups would be either the clear needed to clear a spot for a top star and a tag team to add to an already big roster, or the company simply needs them to fill out a spot. Many believe that the loser between Gable and Jordan versus the Revival match, which I just said, TakeOver, will head to the main roster. Both are ready to go, but WWE has a need for other tag teams with the brand split occurring. Carmella could be added simply because there will be a use for her with Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy, but she could stay with NXT to hold down the fort when Bayley is called up. WWE still doesn't have anyone there to replace her once she leaves NXT. The rumor is that WWE may end up keeping the women's division and the title on one show, and if this happens, Bayley will surely be on that very show. That makes many assume that she will debut right after the draft happens, simply because she gets to choose which brand to go to, or the general manager will sign her for that show, since the title is going to be on that very show. This is why we can expect some random individuals to show up right after the draft. If the company does have the top females on one show, we can expect the major tag teams to be on the other. While there is no official word yet on when this will happen with the titles, or what will happen with the titles, there is expected to be a lot of interesting things occurring between now and the WWE draft. The thought is WWE does not even know what they want to do for sure with everything just yet. The only thing that can be confirmed really is that a lot of new faces will be seen across all of WWE's brands between now and the draft. That is literally everything we know up till this point about the draft, okay? I don't like the fact that WWE doesn't know what the fuck they want to do just yet. Now, granted, it's May. We have more than a month to go for them to work out the kinks, for them to design rosters for both Raw and SmackDown, for them to really sit down and decide who's going to be pulled from NXT. They have a month and a half. I want to say that I have faith in WWE, but then again, they really haven't shown me much of anything lately to the point where I can honestly say I have faith in them. I don't. And I will not. The draft is a mistake. Okay? The draft is a mistake. Now, at first glance and first thought, it's a mistake. I know for a fact I'm going to be sitting here telling you guys that I'm warming up to the draft. Yes, it's going to be exciting. Yes, the idea of a draft is fucking great. But my main concern, and my concern which has been there for months since we started talking about this, is Monday Night Raw. I am a little bit more at ease with WWE booking a 3-hour show if they are pulling 10 more names from NXT. Okay? WWE just really needs to sit down and think, how can Monday Night Raw continue to thrive as the #1 show with the proper roster? You don't want to make it weak. You don't want to make it to the point where there's not enough talent on Raw. Because you got to keep in mind, and this was my first thought, Raw is still 3 hours for the next 2 years. We will continue to see 3-hour Raws. Okay, NBC Universal has WWE locked into a fucking deal, which we will see Raw and that fucking dreadful, nightmarish, abysmal 3rd hour. I can't stand it. If Raw was 2 hours, my attitude towards this draft would be completely fucking different. I would be excited. I would welcome it. I love this fucking aspect. I want to be excited about it. But how can WWE book Monday Night Raw with a draft, with a new roster, with a half a roster, when you can't even book Monday Night Raw correctly now with a full roster? You're going to take half of the fucking talent away, and you're going to make Monday Night Raw 3 hours, and give us 3 hours of television? How are you going to make that work? My main priority, if I was Vince McMahon, is to make Raw great again. Raw should have always been your top priority. I do not trust WWE, even with all the call-ups that they are about to make from NXT. I do not trust them to create 3 hours of programming for Monday Night Raw. I don't. The first thing that went through my head as far as a draft goes is that this is a fucking cop-out. This is a fucking way out for the Monday Night Raw team so they don't have to book for all this talent. That's all it is. It's an easy way out because you have incompetent fucking goons on your creative staff who don't have a creative fucking brain cell up here. That's why. So to me, a part of me believes that this is a fucking cop-out. So you're splitting half the roster to make it easy on everybody. Meanwhile, there's more damaging effect by doing something like that than good. You could potentially kill the fucking brand of Raw completely. Because who knows what could happen in 2 years. I don't like this move. I don't like it at all, just based on that fact. And those are the things that I've been thinking about for 2 weeks now. 2 weeks? What are you talking about, 2 weeks? Raw should have always been a fucking top priority. Always. This is what I've been going on and on and on about for months. Seriously. Raw is your A show. SmackDown always has been the B show. No matter if when Heyman was running Raw, they were putting on better programming. They were always known as the B show. They might have been putting on better programming than Raw, but they were always labeled as #2. Raw was always #1. Okay? Monday Night Raw, to me, needed more of an overhaul than anything. From the music to the set to the announce team, which I hope the announce team members are in the draft as well. Seriously. You want massive change? You want unique rosters? You include the fucking announce team, Vince. Because then you will really have a new fucking era on your hands. Raw should have been priority number one. Always. Always, always, always. The first thing that I thought about when I read this fucking brand split was actually happening and people were blowing up my social media, the first thing that I thought of was how are they going to book 3 hours of fucking television with a split roster? The fact that that could become a reality is scary. It is fucking scary. They do not have the resources, even with them pulling talent from NXT, to book a 3-hour program. Why must Raw be 3 hours? Who came up with this concept that Raw should be 3 hours? SmackDown is fine at 2. It's a beautiful fucking amount for a professional wrestling fan who enjoys WWE's product to engage in a show. 2 hours. I love NXT at 1. I would never want to see NXT more than 1 hour. But Raw for 3 hours? It's a task every Monday night to sit through 3 hours of Raw. Even with a full roster right now, they still cannot book television correctly. They don't utilize everybody. Storylines are fucking been non-existent and fucking stale and lame. Tag team matches upon tag team matches. 6-man tags, 8-man tags. Dean Ambrose fighting a fucking jacket at the end of Monday Night Raw. You mean to tell me with WWE splitting the fucking rosters, you think that it's going to get better even with the talent they pull up from NXT? Come on, man. I don't have any faith in WWE to fucking give me 3 hours of Monday Night Raw and have it feel like Monday Night Raw. I don't trust NXT one bit. 2 hours is more than enough for SmackDown. It should be the same fucking thing for Monday Night Raw. I also thought about this being a fucking cop-out for WWE Creative, because I know for a fucking fact they have 30 fucking idiots working in WWE Creative who don't know jack shit about the fucking product, who are too busy, like Cody Rhodes said, hitting on fucking developmental divas. God knows what the fuck they do on Monday Night Raw. 30 goons who don't know jack shit. This is nothing more than a fucking cop-out. This is a way out so that the WWE Raw roster and the creative writers don't have as much stress and don't have as much fucking on their plate now that they have half a roster or are about to embark on half of a roster. Give me a fucking break, man. They brought you in because you're a creative writer. If you don't give a shit about creative writing, what the fuck are you doing in the WWE? How can you not book 3 hours of Monday Night Raw with a full roster? Who's out now? You got Rollins is back. Cena's back next week. Who's out? Wyatt's going to be back. Orton's going to be back. Neville's going to he's going to be back. You mean to tell me you can't book 3 hours of Raw with this fucking talent? But now you want to split the rosters and book Raw for 3 hours. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Ship is going to sink before it even sets sail. I do not trust WWE. Even with the talent of NXT that they're going to pull. 5 to 10 names. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. Someone told me that there's not going to be split pay-per-views. Thank fucking Christ. But there is going to be split world titles, as Richard Gray from Wrestling News World has already stated. Now, this is my gripe with the 2 fucking world titles. WWE. WWE is a professional wrestling organization. Okay? They did not take another organization and buy it and put it into its company. They didn't buy TNA. They didn't buy WCW. Okay? Back in the day when they bought WCW and they had all these fucking guys, all this talent, it made sense for them to split the rosters. Okay? And make another world title. It made sense then. But why do we need 2 world champions? I mean, is there any logic to that? I understand the concept and the fucking excitement about 2 champions You know, and the showdowns, the cheesy fucking build-up. Oh, yeah, you know, what happens if SmackDown World Champion versus Raw World Champion? Listen, you're a fucking professional wrestling organization, okay? The WWE Championship, out of every fucking title in the industry, is the #1 title desired by everyone in this business. Any world title that is created after it, in its likeness, is going to automatically fucking be worthless. There's no 2 world titles in WWE. There's no 2 world titles within a company. If you are a company, you have one fucking champion, who is the face of the fucking company, who is the guy you look upon to market the company and go to fucking PR events and go on Good Morning America with fucking Regis and Kelly, or Michael and Kelly, whatever the fuck they're doing. Good Morning America. That's what you need. That's what should be. 2 champions is not only going to make that title worthless, but it's going to devalue the meaning of the WWE Championship. And what happened with the world title when there was 2 world champions? Huh? Can someone please elaborate? No, I'll tell you. Don't worry. I'll tell you everything that you need to know. What happened when there was a big gold world championship, right? What happened to that? It didn't get treated like a world championship. They used this as a fucking way to open their pay-per-views. You're opening up a fucking WrestleMania with a world championship match. Do you know how devaluing that is to the fucking title, let alone the people in the ring competing over that title? That's fucking embarrassing. A world title is meant to be in a closing spot on the show, not an opening. The world title is not a fucking cruiserweight title. The cruiserweight title, or an intercontinental title, or a US title, those are belts. Those are matches that open the show. But when I start seeing world titles open up pay-per-views as if it's the fucking cruiserweight title, that's a fucking problem. That's the reason why I didn't want to have anything to do with the big gold belt or them adding world titles. It's fucking ridiculous. It really is. It's embarrassing to the fucking people competing over that title, and it's embarrassing and devaluing to the fucking title that Roman Reigns has, the WWE Championship. It's stupid. It's lame, and it's cheesy. Those are my thoughts on that. What does WWE do with the rest of the titles? This is what they do. The Intercontinental title, being that it's the second most important title in the company, is on Raw. You got the WWE Championship on Raw. You got the fucking Intercontinental Championship on Raw. The tag team titles, being that they don't have enough tag teams to make 2 belts, and thank fucking Christ they're not going that route, because that would be fucking overkill. 1 tag title, 2 shows. Everybody in the division is on both shows. It's very easy, if you want to do the brand split, to showcase talent and give them matches to fight their way up the ranks on SmackDown. You could do the same on Raw. Okay? Being that it's going to be back-to-back shows, I don't see the travel being all that fucking different. Okay? It'll be easy transition. The tag team titles, especially with the amount of tag teams that are going to be on the main roster, I think it's beneficial that they remain on both shows. You can see a tag team title match with a New Day on Raw, and you can see a tag team title match with the New Day on SmackDown. Okay? The U.S. Championship would be on SmackDown. So, the report stated earlier that Rusev might not drop the United States title to SmackDown, but if the rumors are true and John Cena is going to be on SmackDown, and he's going to be the face of that company and the brand, right? Why wouldn't he beat Rusev before the brand split even happens? It's still possible. And if the United States title is going to be on SmackDown and John Cena is going to be on SmackDown, what better guy is there to hold the United States Championship? Nobody. So I could see that certainly being a possibility. So we got the world title, WWE title I should say, on Raw. Intercontinental Championship on Raw. Tag teams floating back and forth between both shows. United States title on SmackDown. A new World Championship. And if they do want to bring in the World Championship, this is what this is seriously what I would do. I'm not for it, but this is what I do. I would get a new belt made. Fuck the big gold belt. It's dated, it's ugly, it's old. WWE gives the WWE Championship that has the new logo that Roman Reigns has. You move that over to the SmackDown Championship. You make that the World Championship. You want to bring back the fucking Eagle belt? This is the proper time, the right opportunity to do that. Someone tweeted me fucking pictures of new nameplates and a new plate being made for a new belt, a new design for a belt being made. It had the Eagle belt insignia on it. Whether that's fucking a fake, fabricated, real, I don't know. I don't know. But people went crazy over the fact that WWE did a photo shoot with everybody on the roster holding that fucking Eagle belt a month ago. And everybody holding that belt looked important because of the fucking way that belt glimmered and shined and looked in those photographs. That's what I would do. Take the belt off Roman Reigns, give it to the SmackDown brand, have that be the fucking World Championship, and give Roman Reigns the Eagle belt and make him a new title, signifying the real fucking World Champion is on Monday Night Raw. That's what I would do. The Women's Championship, being that Raw has the IC title, SmackDown has the US title, they both have World Championships. You know, instead of adding championships, I would have the tag team and the women go back and forth between both shows. There's not enough women on the roster to split between two shows, okay? Those are the two divisions that really need to be cared for and really, really watched over, okay? So the women and the tag team championships need to be going back between both shows. If WWE wants to do this and have a mid-card spread out between Raw and SmackDown, which I think could be fucking great. If they want to have top-tier talent for the world title on Raw and top-tier talent for the world title on SmackDown, I think it could work. All right? After all of this, the two things that I'm concerned with is still the Monday Night Raw being at 3 hours. I'm never going to get over that fact. I'm not. The other thing that I'm really concerned with is NXT. NXT, with the talent that we've seen on that brand, with the Balors and the Joes and the Nakamura's and the fucking Aries and everybody else that was there literally months ago, the Corbins, the Crews, everybody that got called up. It was only a couple of months ago where NXT was looked at as a real third brand. This was the definitive brand that is fucking giving WWE a shot of momentum that they desperately need. Now, if the call-ups are true, and Balor and Joe and Nakamura, and all these guys are being called up to make Raw and SmackDown great again, what's going to happen with NXT? I mean, is WWE going to replenish NXT to the point where it's still going to be a respectable, can't-miss, must-see brand? Or are they going to devalue NXT because Vince McMahon doesn't give a shit? He doesn't give a shit about NXT, you know? Or are they going to let it die? And are they going to turn it into a struggle? And they're going to turn it into a real minor league promotion? I don't consider NXT a minor league promotion. I never considered WWE NXT a minor league promotion. So I'm worried that they're really going to devalue NXT and strip it dry and make it seem as if it's a minor league. It's not going to be a third brand anymore. It's not going to be a third brand. With everybody being pulled, NXT is going to suffer, and they're going to have a tough time gaining that momentum back with a Joe and a Balor and a Bayley and everybody else that's just given them name recognition. It's going to be a struggle. How long is NXT going to struggle for? What type of talent are they going to go out there and get? And I understand completely why Vince McMahon wants to pull these individuals, the Balors and the Joes and the Baileys. These people need to be on the main roster. I understand that. These are main event level talents, simply waiting for the opportunity to be called up to the main roster. To give everyone a fair chance. And this is the only fucking reason why I would agree with a brand split. Is that they have so much top talent that they don't know what to do with it. And I mentioned this on Off the Script the last couple of weeks. I was afraid WWE would fall into this trap of having so much talent, they just were not going to know what to do with it. So with all the talent being promoted to the main roster, it now gives all these main event talents something to strive for. And it gives them an opportunity to be in the spotlight in which they deserve. That's the only thing that I see positively coming out of this, along with SmackDown going live on Tuesdays. That's it. And if WWE can honestly, if WWE can honestly manage SmackDown as its separate entity and Raw as its separate entity, and they have absolutely no paths crossed whatsoever. None. Absolutely none. And this is imperative. WWE should have absolutely no one on Raw have anything to do with anybody on SmackDown. Because when they want to do something special, when they want to have a collision, a head-on collision, champion versus champion, it will be all that much more special. When a Roman Reigns shows up on SmackDown, or a John Cena shows up on Raw, or a Kevin Owens shows up on SmackDown coming from Raw, and a Sami Zayn shows up on SmackDown coming from Raw, it'll be all that much more special. Not only for us, because some of you might not watch Raw, some of you would only watch SmackDown. The people in attendance who don't attend a Raw show is not going to see those guys. And if they do attend a SmackDown, they'll be able to see those guys sparingly. It makes everything seem much more important. Those are my thoughts on the brand split. Those are my concerns. Those are my reservations. I'm worried about 3 hours. I'm worried about 3 hours. I'm worried about NXT being gutted. I'm worried about NXT not being replenished the way it should be. I don't know who WWE's got in mind to go out there and sign to NXT. I know there's Eric Young. I know Bobby Roode. I don't know what's going on. 3 hours and NXT being fucking gutted. Those are my concerns. We've been treated to some great NXT events, and I have full faith in NXT to maintain that momentum, but it's going to be difficult. It is going to be very difficult. It's going to be tough to watch. It really is. Creative writers on SmackDown, creative writers on Raw, and creative writers on NXT. Everything needs to be separated. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys are thinking about the brand split. The more I talk about it, yes, it is exciting. The more I think about it, and the way WWE can handle it, it seems easy on paper. It really does. But there needs to be an equal amount of talent when it comes to main event, mid-card, and main event, mid-card for both brands. If you're going to have the tag teams going back and forth, if you're going to have the women going back and forth, that's going to help. That is going to help immensely. And I would be for a brand split if things are really thought out, planned out, and are done exactly how I stated here. I want it to work. The draft is exciting. It's going to be big for my channel. It's going to be big talking points all through the fucking summer months, and this is all I could ask for, man. I'm happy about there being something to do here. More content, more news, more videos for you guys. I just don't want to see the WWE fail. I don't want to see Raw diminished and struggle, because they're struggling now. 2015 was terrible. 2015, 2016 has not been good for WWE for 3 hours. They can't do anything. With a replenished roster each and every week, they still can't book Monday Night Raw correctly. We're still seeing the social outcasts on Monday Night Raw. Why? They can't get anything right with a replenished roster week after week after week with people coming back from injuries. They're going to book Raw the way it should be with a half a roster? Those are my thoughts, man. Those are my thoughts. And I'm going to be talking about this again on iTunes sometime this weekend. I'm going to go over everything. It's going to be a ton of news, man. I wanted to consolidate this in one video because I do not want to talk about this again until there's more new information out about the brand split. This is literally everything. This is literally everything regarding the brand split. Everything you need to know about the brand split, the draft, and what the fuck is going to happen with the WWE. Hope I did it. Hope I filled you guys in the best I can. I hope I gave you guys valid opinions about my concerns and reservations and my positives coming out of this. But if you did enjoy the video, hit that thumbs up. Let me know what you're thinking about the brand split. I know most of you are excited. I know I should be excited as well. And trust me, I want to be. But the main concerns there with Raw and NXT, man, it's tough to be optimistic when those two things are staring you in the fucking face. Thank you guys so much. Hit that thumbs up. If you missed any of my videos this week, everything is linked down below, man. Go check out reading social media comments and how I would book the Balor Club with the Shield. Likely not going to happen now with the draft, but it's a good listen anyway, guys. And also, subscribe to Horse60. Link is down below as well. We'll have a new video from him right here as the introduction in part 2. Until then, I'm JD. Like I said, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not done so already. Continue to support the Patreon. Get your t-shirts. Twitter at JD from NY206. And I'll be back with more great WWE content on the #1 fucking podcast right here on YouTube.com for everything WWE. This is Off the Script. And I'll see you guys on Saturday morning. Until then, take care.